Welcome to Movies with Martha. My name is Martha, and today I am reviewing Pete's Dragon, the original. Movie shark, do 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 do. Movie shark, do 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 do. Movie shark. With Pete's Dragon, the remake, coming out this weekend, I thought it was a good idea to watch the original again. And it's actually, I have fond memories of this movie from my childhood. I've always had a soft spot for dragons, and this is particularly a feel-good movie. I really identified with the orphan boy, and I thought it would be such a cool thing to have an invisible dragon for a friend, and it was very interesting watching it as an adult. I don't know how many years it's been since I've seen it, but it was a totally different experience. I definitely didn't remember how much singing and dancing there was in this movie. I think maybe it's a little over 2 hours long, and I think maybe more than half of it is just singing and dancing. And when you're a kid, you don't really follow along with really involved plot lines anyway. You pick up on emotions very strongly, and you definitely pick up on sensory stimulation a lot. So so the singing and dancing, I don't remember it feeling long at all. I was just watching enthralled the whole time, I suppose. But as an adult watching it, that singing and dancing, it gets pretty boring because it's drawn out. It doesn't add to the story or progress the plot line at all. You know, a song that takes like 7 minutes in the movie could have adds as much to the plot as like 2 lines would have added if they had been spoken. But it's a very feel-good movie, and you know, the limitations of the time in terms of special effects, having the animated dragon and all the little Disney tricks that go into making it look like there's an invisible dragon picking apples, but it's really just shaking the tree, you know, that kind of thing, like Mary Poppins kind of stuff, and that whole era. So, what are we looking for in this remake? What am I looking for in a remake? And I'd like to do a little discussion later on about remakes in general and what kind of movies should be remade, what makes a good remake, etc., etc. I think one advantage to making a remake of this movie, of course, is the special effects. When you're doing dragons and having boys riding on dragons and all that stuff, the special effects are very handy. I'd like to have less, if any, singing and dancing. Even though I liked the songs in Pete's Dragon, they get a little long and boring. So let's not have the singing and dancing necessarily. The bare bones of a good plot are there, of a good story are there. So it just needs to be flushed out. It needs to be flushed out. Plunge in a little more deeply into the characters and their emotional needs, and you know, have someone go through a hero's journey kind of thing, where they have an unmet need or longing, and they're going through this road of trials, and they get to this low point, belly of the beast type thing, and the return with the elixir, or I mean, you know what I mean? They need to go through a real hero's journey so that we can really get into it emotionally and identify that kind of thing. It won't be enough to just have awesome special effects with dragons flying through the sky kind of thing. Not for adults anyway. For kids, I'm sure they'd love it. Just have 2 hours of dragons flying and they'll be fine. So I'm excited to see this movie, and I definitely recommend Pete's Dragon, the original, at least to see it once if you're an adult. But for kids, oh, they just eat it up. So definitely recommend it for kids. And I'm very excited to see the remake, and I'll give you the review. And since I did kind of an adults and kids review for the original, I'll do a kids and adults review for the remake as well. So, see you then.